Could I have a motion to open the October 6th, 2014 meeting?
I'll do that. I'll make a motion that we open the October 6th, 2014 meeting at 7:07.
I second that, and all in favor?
Aye.
Susan Elwell
Yes?
and Charlie Costello, chairman. And I didn't mention, this is the Board of Health meeting, in case there's any confusion. We have a kind of a abbreviated agenda tonight.
Yeah, sure, tonight.
I did want to take something just out of order, Frank, if you could just give us a preview of what we normally talk about with concerns of the board, but just kind of give us a little summation of what you've learned and been involved with about these different viral incidents throughout the state.
Yeah, we've been watching really closely the enterovirus, the D68. We're working close with DPH on it just to monitor things. That virus has been causing a lot of respiratory problems in mainly children.
Speak up a little louder.
Yeah, sure. I believe the latest numbers we have, about 538 confirmed cases and
In the United States?
in the United States,
Right.
yeah, in 43 different states, so
Yeah.
it's spread quite a bit. We did have one confirmed case here in Massachusetts of a child, school-aged child, but they were treated and released, so doing well. There were 4 people that were infected that did die, however, there were some other issues going on with that as well, so they didn't link it directly to the virus, but it was definitely a contributing factor. Well, you probably heard about the Rhode Island girl, the 10-year-old Rhode Island girl, is probably closest to here, that did pass away. She did have a bacterial staph infection also,
Right.
which contributed, so. And I did hear today that a 4-year-old boy from New Jersey did die from the virus that was directly linked to this virus, so.
They have some polio-like symptoms, so
Yeah.
a little twist on that one.
But there's no antiviral medication right now and no vaccine available right now, so just continuing to watch it and
I gather some public places like schools are increasing their sanitation
they are, yes.
activities throughout our state even.
Mhm.
So it might be interesting or important for you to contact the 2 schools we're involved with,
Mhm.
Triton and the Pine Grove,
Yeah.
and just ask them what they're doing,
Mhm.
so we can have that.
Sure. Yeah, we work pretty closely with the nurses at both schools over the years, so
Mhm.
they're very proactive about letting us know what's going on. But
So
we
reach
will-
out to
we
them
will again.
tomorrow,
Sure.
sure.
Yep.
And if there's any, just give me a call,
Okay,
I'll be in Boston.
sure.
Yeah, I think we just need to urge parents to be good parents and teach their children to wash up after they come in contact with things, not share their food with the other children at lunchtime, and stay rested and get flu shots if you need it. But we have to take care of ourselves, and we have to protect ourselves.
Along with that same line, what's the calendar for flu shots here in Raleigh?
Yeah, that's actually on our agenda. You want me to skip to
Yeah,
that now?
just 'cause
Sure.
some people might only watch the beginning,
Yeah.
the most exciting part of our meeting. And we might as well get the important stuff out first, and then,
Sure. Yeah, this year, whoops.
it's so organized, see, everything is
He's got it all right here.
timed to
He's got it all.
to our agenda.
That's
Yeah,
right.
right in order.
That's
Yeah. Yeah, we will be receiving 200 doses again this year.
Mhm.
Should be coming in very shortly. We did schedule a clinic for our seniors on October 22nd from 2 to 4 p.m. here at the Annex, at the Council on Aging. We'll also probably be setting up a clinic at the plantation. We'll be looking at how many doses we have left and then go from there. We never really know from year to year how much demand there's going to be. Some people could go to the doctors first and get their shots. Others wait for us because they've come to us every year. So,
This year-
CBS had
this
a
year,
big
though-
program too.
This year, though, with all this publicity
yes,
that's on every news media
Mhm.
about things,
yeah,
people should get their flu shot early.
yeah,
And it might prompt us to have to get more vaccine.
Right.
Especially, there's a limited supply of vaccine.
There is.
So it would be helpful if people came early so we know what's needed in our inventory later in the year.
yeah. There was a reduction from the state this year as well. Didn't affect us as much as the larger cities, but I believe we get about 10 doses less than we normally do, so.
Mm.
But I know the bigger cities did get, I believe, a larger reduction, so.
All right, well now, shall we go back to our
Yeah.
advertised agenda?
Yeah.
And we're gonna talk about the Ox Pasture Brook assessment proposal.
Yeah.
Could I just give a little introduction to that, and then
Sure.
you fill in
Yeah.
what I don't say?
Sure.
Over the years, we've participated in a clean water effort or program with the Parker River Clean Water Association, and helped them with funding and volunteer efforts to sample different parts of the town's waterways. And it's a wonderful database that will historically be important to look back on. Unfortunately, one site, the Ox Pasture Brook site in Rowley, has each year spiked off the charts levels of fecal coliform. And we have worked with a contractor to try to locate where the source of that is, and this company has been unsuccessful. And so Frank has reached out and enlisted another company with more of a credential at this type of environmental investigation. And we've met with them, and they have submitted us a proposal
Yep.
that Frank will outline, and we will act on tonight.
Yep, you pretty much hit it on the head. There are 4 testing sites in Raleigh that we currently do. One on the Mill River, there's actually 2 in Ox Pasture Brook, and 1 on the Raleigh River at the town Mandy. But only one of the sites at Ox Pasture Brook is giving us the problem, which is down here on Central Street. The testing site at Fennel Drive hasn't been a problem.
Which is
And
downstream of the site that's giving us the high numbers.
Right, exactly. And those are the last, from 2008 to 2013. If you'd like to.
Results?
If you those, yeah. You know, as you know, this is also done in Georgetown, Newburyport, it's done
Oh,
as a
yes.
collective
Yeah.
effort.
The whole watershed
Yeah.
of the Parker.
So yeah, the proposal was given to us, and
Well, we scoped out what we were looking for, and
Right.
now we did an RFP at a meeting, and they've given us a P or a proposal now.
right. Basically, it's done in sections. They start with reviewing maps, places and things, and then going forward from there on sidewalks and a little more technical review. And I think we've talked about perhaps doing it one segment at a time. But I'll let you,
No,
yeah,
so just describe briefly the first section, or the first part of the proposal that we might act upon tonight to get them started.
yeah, the first step would be, they refer to as desktop analysis and review of existing data. In other words, they will review all the reports that Parker River has submitted to us, review any mapping that they have about the watershed, you know, the course of the brook, what could or couldn't be contributing factors, and then do an assessment of where they think the problems might be, and then come back to us, let us know what they found, and then we would determine the next step going from there.
Will there be testing involved in this
Not
first
in this,
phase?
not in this first
So this
phase,
first phase would commence possibly even this late fall
It
and
could.
winter,
if you'd like to, yeah.
and then depending on their results or recommendations from phase 1,
Mhm.
we would then act to fund phase two, which will involve actual water quality testing during the periods where historically it's spiked high levels.
Yeah,
What time of the year does it spike?
it's usually in the summertime, and some months have been fine, and other months have not been, and the numbers have been all over the place, so which has been hard for us to pinpoint what
Yeah.
the specific problem is. But it's been mostly in the summer, usually at the start, they usually test from, I believe, April through October,
Mhm.
yeah. And the beginning and the end of the seasons aren't as bad as
The
the
middle.
summer, yeah.
Which is indicative of warm water, warm temperatures.
Yeah.
Right,
If there's a presence of the bacteria,
right,
it'll take off.
right. And there could
Yeah,
be
sure.
contributing factors of runoff from lawn fertilizer, things like that, so.
All
But this
right.
will help narrow down, hopefully, what they believe the problem is, and we can review that and go from there.
Because of all these sites that are in the Parker River system, this water quality program, the Ox Pasture Brook issue, seasonal, is the big black eye.
Yeah.
We're off the charts with a problem. So we feel as a board that it's important to spend some of our funds that we spend very frugally with our retained revenue account from the fees that we generate, to dedicate it to try to understand and remedy this black eye. So, could I have a motion?
Yes, I have a motion that we just do the first part of the proposal, right, for the desktop assessment.
What we can do is ask for a more specific
Yeah,
proposal for the
scope of
first,
work.
yeah, for the first part,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then have it for each
right,
portion.
and go on,
Do
because
another
you may
one.
find the problem on the first part and
Right.
not have to go through the whole thing.
Because it was outlined, the whole thing was
Right.
outlined, but
I read
as a
it,
big,
yeah,
as an overall picture,
right, it was pretty impressive.
Right.
It was big,
there's
but
a lot, yeah.
I mean, I can think of 1,000 reasons why it could be happening.
Right,
Um,
And this company is a company on the east part of the state, but with several offices. And they have an office in Newburyport, so it's helpful
yes.
that,
Right.
and you've developed a rapport with the individual that's gonna be doing this. So
Right.
this is a good use of our funds.
Absolutely.
So I'll second that motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, Frank?
Yep.
Will you follow up with them? Great.
Yeah, sure.
So, let me see here, where's my agenda? Oh, here it is, right on top. So, let's jump into the letter that the office has prepared for me to sign
Yeah,
to New England Biolabs, who are coming to town.
yeah, would you like a little
Yeah,
background on that?
yeah.
a mini background.
Yeah. As you know, it's the biotech firm Biolabs, which their main location in Ipswich, is looking to move a portion of their company to Raleigh at the Ipswich Bay Glass facility in one of the buildings, building number 6.
On Route 1.
On Route 1. There are gonna be no research labs in this building, but that is still gonna be done all in Ipswich. Here will only be production labs, fermentation, purification, and quality control. It's gonna be a much smaller, Ipswich has over 300 employees, they make 700 products. Here in Raleigh, they're only looking, 10 to 20 employees, with 10 products perhaps. They're still working on what exactly they're gonna be doing, but much smaller scale. And again, this will be at building number 6. That building is designed for a flow of 3,195 gallons per day for their septic, so they're fine there. Any hazardous waste is going to be removed from the site. Contracts are already in place, and we'll have copies of those on file. Basically, they just want to make sure that the board they've satisfied all your concerns.
Well, we've met
Fully
with them,
signed.
you've
Yeah.
met with them numerous times. you and I went for a site visit, one lovely summer day, early summer,
June, yeah.
and toured their facility.
Mhm.
They're a business in very good standing in Ipswich.
Mhm.
You've communicated with the Ipswich Board of Health, and they've had no issues
No.
with the activities that go on there. As I remember, the reason why they want to have a separate facility is that some of their customers have voiced a concern of having their products produced in the main facility where there might be the possibility of cross-contamination of the products that these people use in their ongoing businesses. So they've reached out and worked out an arrangement to set up this particular facility, and we voiced our concerns about how different materials would be removed from the site, and in their letter and their presentations to us, we're satisfied that things will be done correctly, and plus no hazardous type things are going to be produced there. It's more of a production of kind of standard, their meat and potatoes kind of products. So, you've prepared a letter for me to sign,
Yes.
explaining to them our approval of what they propose. And if the board is in agreement with approving their request to work there, and there are no local regulations as far as, zoning regulations affecting this type of business at the site, and there are no wastewater disposal issues involved because they have a big capable system that the owner of the industrial park has.
Right.
And there will be contracts in place for wastes that are generated there, and copies of these contracts it says in the letter, will be made available to the Board of Health upon request. Maybe that's strong enough, but I think we should get, you should, yeah, I
Before we
think,
sign any occupancy
yeah,
permit, yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
So, with that in mind,
Well, then I'll make a motion that you sign the letter approving the New England Biolabs opening at 420 to 428 Newburyport Turnpike, Rowley.
okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Is that your dog out there barking or
No,
mine?
it must be yours, mine's at home. She's snoring.
Mine's at home resting for his hunting trip.
Mine's just had her dinner, she's very happy.
All right,
Okay.
moving along,
Yeah.
and we move into our Board of Health topics.
Yeah.
So mosquito control update.
Yes.
How have complaints been in the office this year? How would you grade it?
Not as bad as other years. It's been a quiet year, fortunately,
It
with
has.
virus.
Yeah. And for nuisance.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. It's been, the nights have been cool, as you know, so that's been keeping the mosquitoes at bay.
Been able to eat dinner on my porch every evening, nothing comes until 8 o'clock, all summer long.
Yeah.
This is a first for Rowley.
Yeah, it was a good year.
First, yeah,
Yes, we did have one positive week, back in early September,
yeah.
where one pool on Hammond Street did detect West Nile virus, so we did our usual notification and public outreach. But fortunate than that, it's been fairly quiet with virus, even in this area. No other surrounding town touching us, or any virus, so it was a good year. We still remain at low risk for categories of AAA and West Nile with the state.
And it was so nice to have the concerts on the common
Yeah.
without being buzzed.
Yeah.
It was great.
So, you know, the season's winding down now. The testing has been completed for the season, but the nights have been so cool now that they haven't been collecting many mosquitoes in the traps. So,
Haven't seen one.
so it's been, I said, just winding down, but still, you know, urging people to use precautions. But,
In another year, we can probably say as the, the signers of the management plan with Essex, Northeast Essex County Mosquito Control, we're satisfied with the services they provide.
yeah, they've been very responsive, you know, no issues
Yeah.
to report of.
No, it's a great service for us to participate in this shared expertise, because as a town alone, we couldn't afford to get,
Yeah.
No,
have an entomologist and
Right.
all this involvement, so it's a very useful form of government.
Actually, on another positive note, do you remember when they were in here a few months ago talking about the plan and everything, they talked about how they can assist with picking up tires and things. So we did have a resident call that we told them about the program, and they came out the same day, picked up about 10 to 15 tires
Oh,
and
good.
disposed of them.
Well, that's good,
So,
another service there.
yeah, so it was, you know, they didn't just say they would do it, they actually came out and did it, so it was very,
Wonderful.
very nice
Very
to see
good.
that, so.
and it's like the hand washing thing with the illnesses, it's important to keep the standing water down
Right.
in your yard and your gutters clean,
Right,
and we all have to do our best.
Yeah.
And I just feel like it was so much better this year.
it was a good year overall, so.
And I'm an old growly person with skin like elephant because of all the mosquitoes,
Yeah.
but I've never seen it as good as this year.
Yeah,
It was
no.
great.
All set?
Yeah, unless you have any other
Nope.
questions on that?
So, next up is the annual report, because the fiscal year ended June 30th, the state
Yeah.
fiscal year.
Yeah,
So you prepared a report of what's up. Now, you don't have to go through all of this, just kind of give us a
Yeah.
synoptic view.
yeah, first on the annual report, this will be for FY14. It's a little late this year, we were putting some numbers together, waiting for some totals to come in, but this was sent over to the state. The previous report from FY13, as you can see, was $1,264,230.87. In FY13, we also did draw down that last $200,000 that we had.
From the Environmental Trust of the state.
Yes.
Yep.
And that is the last drawdown from all the money we borrowed, of the $1,250,000 that we borrowed. That's the last of it, so. And then the next category, you can see where we have the collections from the regular tax billing, and it's broken down by each quarter, which totaled $61,342.17. The next comes the lump sum collections, and you can see came out to a total of $42,431.92.
Those are people that probably sold their property.
Yeah, there were 2 properties that were sold during that time, and that money was put back into
Okay.
to the fund. And then you can also see there were 4 payments for one property that extra payments were made on the principal of the loan, so those get added in with the paid off loans. And then we have the principals, the payments made to the trust, which was a total of $53,439. That was paid back to the state, as you can see, $25,939 in July, and then the balance of the $27,500 in January. That includes everything except, again, for that last $200,000 that we just drew down. That last $200,000 we'll probably start paying that back next year, next year, which will raise that up $10,000, so we'll be looking at a little over $63,000. But we're not sure yet. We wait to hear from the state on when we need to start paying that back. Which leaves us with a balance at the end of FY14 of $1,514,565.96. And again, this will be reviewed by the treasurer and the accountant, and again, it's been sent to the state.
All right,
Questions on that?
very good.
Um,
Continues to be a good program.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
yeah. Next, we have the quarterly report, which ended on September 30th,
Yeah,
2014. We had a very, very busy quarter, a lot busier than we normally do. The total from last quarter, which ended on June 30th, was $508,595.67. We did not, no drawdowns this quarter, and again, that was, like I said earlier, we already drew down that last 200,000, so no drawdowns. The disbursements to the homeowners, this is where we were pretty busy. It totaled $51,980.66. And you can see on the back of your form the breakdown of where that money went. There were 4 loans in total that we were working on, which is a lot for one quarter. Usually we'll get 1 or 2, but it was a very busy quarter, which is good. One of those loans was completed, and there are 3 that are still, they're in process. They're not complete yet, but they're still being worked on. But again, a total of 4 just in that one quarter. During that quarter, we also had 2 paybacks as well. 2 houses were sold, again, during this quarter, so it was a very busy quarter. But again, the breakdown was basically engineering and installation costs. And, again, you can see that on page 2.
Yep.
No administrative costs this quarter, so nothing there, which left us with an ending balance of $456,615.01. And again, due to the large amount of disbursements we had, dropped that number down a little bit, but we still have plenty of money for loans, so we're in good shape there. We already have another loan in the pipeline, as you can see under plan for disbursements for the next quarter. Haven't received it yet, but there are a few applications out there. And this will be forwarded to the treasurer and accountant for approval, and will be forwarded to DEP.
good, all right.
Any questions?
Yep,
on that?
no. All right, we've already talked about the flu vaccine
Yeah.
issue, so we'll
Yeah.
zip by that. Have we settled on a date for the annual
Well,
household hazardous waste,
we're hoping
November?
Yeah, we're hoping to do that tonight, if we can.
Okay,
We usually hold it in November.
What's the second week, the
There's a calendar
15th?
actually.
oh, here,
Yeah.
okay.
Let's see,
There, so,
Thank you.
so we're either talking the 15th or the 22nd. Thanksgiving is late this year.
It is.
Should we think about the 22nd?
Doesn't matter. My cousin's coming from Norway on the 20th. I can put him to work, or he can stay with the dog. It's only the morning.
Yeah, let's do the 22nd.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that's normally the date we usually choose,
Yeah.
the Saturday before it. It's, it does get a little cold, but hopefully we won't get any snow. And,
Okay.
Basically, unless you want to change anything, we're going to do the same thing we
No.
normally do.
It works.
Oil-based paints, antifreeze,
It does
gasoline,
work. It's
preservatives.
keeping the town so much cleaner.
Yeah.
It's so great. People appreciate it.
We'll also.
And you don't see illegal dumping, like, in the past, before we started doing this, I go down Stackyard Road to walk with my dog out towards the Nelson's Island. And before we started doing this, there would be tires
Yeah.
and sometimes cans dumped on the side of in the woods. Haven't seen any
Oil,
of
we
that.
used to have little piles of oil cans in our woods.
So it gives people, especially now that we do it regularly,
Right.
it gives people a chance to store it, knowing they can get rid of it for free.
Right. Yeah, I talk to the highway department all the time, and they've been telling me over the years that each year it gets less and less that they're finding on the side of the roads. It still happens, and it's always gonna happen, but,
We still get the beer cans and the nips on
it has definitely drastically reduced, which is good. We're also gonna do, electronics like we normally do.
Yeah,
propane tanks, tires, and car batteries as well. We'll have it at the highway department like we normally do.
Yep.
Same time, and we'll start publicizing like we normally do.
Very good.
Would you like to sign the contract?
Sure.
Sure. We'll have it all ready. We kind of figured you were gonna pick that date, so.
Oh,
we
you
can
put it
ch- we-
in. Great.
We did, but we can change the date if you, but
Nope,
the
that's
the
fine.
right date is in there, so. Should be on the last page.
Today's the 6th.
6.
It's tough when you're semi-retired, you kind of lose
You
track.
you forget what day it is? Don't say that on TV. I think you're okay.
I'll do another one as well. We usually one for them and one for us.
Yeah,
Well, I try to be honest.
sure. We all have our days. No problem.
Okay. Then we're gonna do the prescription drug take-back day.
Yep.
You have a date for that?
Well, actually, it has gone by. I was just gonna
Oh.
give you a little update on when it happened. As you know, twice a year, the Raleigh Police and the Drug Enforcement Administration do a prescription drug take-back day. This year was held on Saturday, September 27th, here at the Council on Aging. Again, this is a great opportunity to get rid of unused medication. We'll have another event in the spring, usually around April, I believe, they have it. But about 25 to 30 people showed up, and police were happy with the turnout and the amount that they took in. And
What came in? Were they narcotics or?
we don't ask.
So it just goes into a black bag?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then the police escort it to the facility
And-
where it's disposed of.
And for information for, say, our spring collection, do people do they have to bring it in the container, or could they
No?
dump it into
No,
a
they dump
baggie,
E-
and there could be 10 different
Yeah.
things?
Either way, they can, a lot of people prefer to take their names off them
Right.
and just put them in a regular bag, or you can leave them in the container,
Mhm.
either way.
But the police take it to the secure facility,
Yes.
wherever that is?
It's transported by them
Yep,
to the location where it's gonna be disposed of.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, good. Well, we'll look forward to doing that and advertising that. Make sure
Yeah.
at our next meeting, at our meeting in the spring, before the event, that we
Yeah.
talk about it.
Do a little advertising, sure.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's move into office administration. Review of bills. Are you gonna keep these?
I'll keep those, yes. And we'll keep those.
Great. What about this?
Yeah, I'll keep that.
Keep that one?
Yeah.
And maybe, you have a copy of
I
this?
do, you can keep that
Okay.
if you like, or, actually, why don't you,
I'll
keep
keep
that,
that. I'm
yeah.
gonna keep this in mind, because we'll be talking.
yeah, we need to talk about.
I won't need these things about,
Nope.
yeah, you can call me tomorrow in my office if you want.
We'll take care of it.
Okay, so it's. How's that new car going
Fine, fine.
after your initial troubles?
Yeah, no problems.
How new is it?
About 5 years?
Is it? Oh,
Yeah.
oh, that's good.
Yeah, so,
What happened to the other one?
sold, actually.
Okay.
Sold, yeah, yeah. So, actually, that was sold in conjunction with the COA, yeah.
Oh,
That's- oh, that's-
you sold them together, that was good.
Susan, I'll set that one.
Okay, next up is a review of the minutes of our last meeting, which was, our last meeting was way back on June 2nd. Wow. And that was our mosquito control meeting.
On item 5, I have a question. It says the church is expected to request a permit to install the septic system. Which church? Is that St. Mary's?
Same years, yeah.
I just couldn't remember which church it was.
Yeah.
What's the status on the water treatment plant?
Oh, that was my
Yes.
next question.
Sure. Do you wanna finish that first, or do you want me to talk about it?
All right, I'll sign it. Once I
Or I
finish
can
this
start,
one.
or I can.
Why don't- Yeah, because it sounds like Susan's already read this, so let me just finish. She-
Sure, yeah, take your time, yeah.
So I'll sign this one.
Sure.
Just as a side note, Mr. Chairman, I talked to, you remember a few months ago, we did compliance checks on tobacco checks, and Ron Burgott did offer to come in to talk to the board about reviewing our regulations
Uh-huh.
and seeing if you'd like to change anything or add anything, he can give you updates on.
And Burkhardt is the state inspector.
Yes.
Yeah?
You know, he said sometime in the fall he'd be happy to come in. I don't know if that's something you want me to start talking to him about giving you updates on, you know, what's going on. Remember how he
Yeah.
once a year or so he comes in and,
Yep.
I don't know if it's something you wanna look at in the near future, or if you wanna wait until the winter, or,
Why don't we wait till the meeting after next?
okay,
It's more of a winter kind of
Winter subject.
subject.
you know, again, he just likes to keep you up to date on
Yeah,
what
Yeah.
products are out there, what to look out for.
that is interesting,
It
that's
is.
a good thing.
Yeah.
No, I think we should have him come to the meeting after next.
Okay.
And maybe what we should do tonight now is settle on our next meeting and settle on the meeting after that.
Oh, wow. All right, today is 6.
So, we should probably have a meeting in November. I'm away the whole last week in October. So,
Now, is this, no, this is the holiday, it's always on the agenda. So we could do the 10th, or the 17th.
Oh, why don't we do the 17th, because that's just before the, and then we could advertise on the TV station, our upcoming day. Is that okay, the
Sure.
17th?
So, yeah.
And then, let's tentatively set our December meeting for the 15th. Is that the one where Ed's gonna come as Santa Claus?
Possibly.
He would make a good Santa Claus.
It's marvelous.
Yeah, we'll watch things and see
Yeah,
if
see if-
anything comes up before.
Before,
that.
yeah, so those are the two dates,
Okay.
15th and the 17th.
Okay.
The 17th is November and the 15th is December.
Yeah. Okay, let's see, minutes, set next meeting, concerns of the board. Have you had any complaints about Frank?
Never.
Do you have any concerns, Frank, or anything else to bring up?
No, well, you did ask about the
The
treatment
water.
plant.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right,
Yeah.
excuse me, yeah, let's get
Um,
on with that.
There is, as you know, they do have a temporary occupancy permit that is gonna expire though, I believe on October 14th, I believe. So I know the fire chief and the bill inspector are working on that. The treatment plant has been running, I believe it has started running on August 27th. I believe they are filtering water through well number 3. Well, number 5 was where they have the multiple wells there. I believe they're cleaning out the pumps right now and getting it ready. So they're working on that. But everything, I believe, is working fine and haven't heard of any problems, so that's
Good.
where we are right now.
I would love to see that place.
Yeah, we could ask.
Is there gonna be a town visit there? Shouldn't there be? $11 million?
I can certainly
Yeah,
look into that.
look into
Yeah.
that. There
Sure.
should be, I mean, there was so much fanfare when they cut the ribbon to start it.
Right,
There ought to be fanfare now that it's functioning.
right. Okay. Sure. And,
We have to do as much as we can to communicate with the public about what's going on. Every time I get a question, it's something that could have been figured out through a newspaper or some other way. People need to know what's happening with their tax money.
Yeah, and their water rates,
And their water rates, yeah,
almost more importantly.
yeah.
So,
They're
yeah, will
happy
you
with it.
work on that and
Yes,
get
I
back
will.
to me?
I will, sure.
I am gonna be away for the next 2 weeks, but my cell will work.
Okay,
You can call me.
okay. Just one more follow-up thing, as you know, I've seen the birdhouse is finally down.
Yes.
And, so, going forward, a new house
Oh,
will
it
be
looks
built.
so nice to see that cleaned
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Sure does. It's a long time coming.
Yeah,
Well, there was a lot of back
Yeah,
title work.
there were a lot of legal issues that were
Yeah.
being resolved, it took about a year or so, but finally it's done and it's going forward, so.
Well, I think we have to learn from this one, though, that it's not in the best interest of Raleigh to leave ugly nuisances like that up for a year.
But
And,
if there's no title, how do you know?
well, there recently was this horrible thing that happened in Blackstone,
Oh.
Massachusetts, where kids were, I don't even know the details, but that building was torn down in 5 days.
Hmm.
There's a way to do it, and I really think we should
Well, they
explore.
knew who the owner was.
Well, who knows? I mean, I don't think they could have done a title search in 5 days. So I think there is a way, when there's, if I were a neighbor between those, on either side of that property, I would have been pretty upset a year. So, I'm glad it got done, and the people that, you know, sold it and bought it and represented it, the realtors, they did what they could. But I think we ought to look into so ways why that needn't happen again if there's another problem like that. It killed me to go by that place for a year. And it's not really, it's contrary to the Board of Health to have a derelict building, uninspected, unsecured for a long time, so.
I was worried that kids would go in there. We
Well-
used to go into an old house where the plantation is, we'd go in and play in there.
Yeah, and I just think that, you know, that there needs to be a way to circumvent the obstacles that the land court or whatever it is puts in our way in the interest of public health. Because public health is number one.
Right.
You know, it's not the land court, it's not the title. And so that might be an assignment for you this winter to kind of research what we can learn from this one. And the good news is, a new house will be up there quick.
Yeah.
Which would be
Oh,
great.
the one on Pleasant Street, that was a scary place when people were living
Oh.
in it.
Sure.
And
So, anyway,
there's only so much you can do.
I think we're done.
That's it.
There we are.
Can I have a motion to end?
Yes, you have a motion to adjourn at 7:54.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank you, Frank.